Yo, what's good, Grace and good friends? It's your boy, Jiraiya, back at it. And I'm sounding so uneasy right now because it's been a minute.
Been a hot second.
Those of you who, might be thinking, where did season 1 go? What happened? Woo, woo, woo. Well, we had a lot of things in the way. Maybe we'll jump into that later. But without any further ado, is that the right way to say it? Any further ado?
I think so.
That's kind of just what I hear people say. Ladies and gentlemen, my guest today is none other than a producer, an artist, a brother, a fitness guy, a chef from what I've been told,
I don't know about all that.
A singer, a songwriter, an audio engineer. This man really does it all, but instead of hearing it from me, I want to jump into it and let my boy talk to y'all today. Ladies and gentlemen, y'all make some noise for Mr. Brodi Phoenix in the building.
Phoenix, we here.
Man, wow. Before I maybe even ask a question or even let you do your thing, I just want to say thank you, bro.
Yeah, thanks for the invitation. As soon as you text me, and I was like, I'm ready to roll.
He was like, yeah. He was like, bet. Bro, I've been surprised. Like, I've had a couple of hiccups trying to get people into the podcast, here and there. But mostly, man, it's been like God has allowed it to be like an easy process. And I'm grateful. I don't take that for granted.
For sure.
Because it could be difficult. I could be like
most definitely
posting Craigslist ads like need an artist to interview. Like, who knows where this could be? But nah,
right.
It's been going pretty smooth. And yeah, thank you from the bottom of my heart.
Yeah, thanks for reaching out.
Yes, sir. This is a day before Thanksgiving.
Yep. So
it's not a holiday. Yeah, it's Thanksgiving Eve. But my man's took time out of his day. I'm grateful for that. And if anybody does know, this is kind of full circle. Fun fact for you, which I shared earlier, but you get to hear it again for the people, is my first time recording an episode. Episode 1 was a couple of days after Thanksgiving.
Wow.
2023. So this is really full circle. This is not only the season 1 finale, episode 10 of season 1. This is it's been a year, y'all. I done lived some life. I had some highs. I had some lows.
Right.
But we back in the studio, man. We out here gracing good friends. So shout out to you, Brody.
Thanks God, man. Thanks for allowing me to come out here and talk. So
yeah. So Thanksgiving, what are your plans?
Yeah. So typically we go to my aunt and uncle's house. Mom's homemade good cooking. She texts me a couple pictures of some sweet potato pumpkin pie. I am a type 1 diabetic, so I try to stay off the carbs as much. So she does a almond flour, kind of coconut flour type
nice.
Crust. So
yeah.
I try to stay good, do the lower carb life. But man, family gets together. I think there's gonna be close to roughly 20 people, 15, 20 people.
That's a good group.
Just get down. We just eat good.
Spend
catch
time.
Up. My cousins, my aunt, uncle, like I said, my parents, my sister. So
let's go. Where's your family? Where are y'all meeting at? Is that all the DFW thing? Are you traveling or?
Yeah, so it's locally. So I stay in McKinney, but my aunt and uncle live in Louisville area. So
okay, cool.
Highland Village, to be exact.
Yes,
so,
sir.
My parents actually just sold our childhood home and moved to Wiley, Texas.
Wiley is east, Garland, kind of.
I'm directionally challenged.
Okay. But it's around there.
It's somewhere around there. Millennials and Gen Z. We're kind of we need help.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's not too close. I got sister in Las Colinas, one sister in Houston, just scatter around. Got a brother in New York, Phoenix, another brother. They're twins, and then my sister's in Phoenix, Arizona as well. So I got a kind of array of family around the area. So
okay, I'm gonna use that as a pivot right there because the artist name Brodi Phoenix is new.
It's new. It's fresh.
That's not how you've been rocking this whole time.
Right.
So yeah, we definitely gotta unpack that. But you said you got some family in Phoenix. So is there a correlation there?
No, not necessarily, but it could be if you want to make it like.
If they ask, you're like, yeah, of course.
It could be, but no, that's not why. So, I mean, my government name is still BP, obviously.
Yes, sir.
I used to hoop. I played a year in college at Lubbock Christian. I taught, to a couple D1 schools in high school.
Nice.
D2 NAIA. I taught to Texas State for a little bit, Loyola, Maryland.
Okay.
I was getting recruited, playing AAU ball. Last minute, kind of was like, I don't know if I want to keep playing or not. I played AAU since 3rd grade. We're traveling, going to Houston.
What is AU? Is that
I forgot. It's what is it?
What's
Athletic Amateur Union or
Okay.
Athletic Amateur Union. It's basically club basketball.
Yes.
Select basketball.
Select. That's the word I was thinking of. Select. Okay, yeah, because I've heard of that growing up. I'm not an athletic dude. Y'all can probably tell. I love sports to like watch socially, but I've never been like a fan or like like into that world. So
Right.
so you got to keep me. You got to educate me.
yeah.
Okay, so you played select ball.
Played select ball my whole life. The mic seems like it's dropping a little bit.
Oh yeah, and then if you hit the
Turn
a little tighter, it might take care of you.
We could just switch to your camera frame on this one, or you can cut it. That should be better, I think. I just want to be able to talk.
It sounds better and it looks better.
Yes.
Cool.
So yeah, play select ball basically my whole life. Traveling tournaments in Houston, 3rd grade. That's when I played. I played with this organization called Type Achievers. Shout out to Coach Mann and his son, Lil Lawrence. So yeah, just been an athlete my whole life. Kind of got burnt out. Ended up landed in Lubbock, going to Lubbock Christian, walking on the last minute. And I think the assistant coach for Abilene Christian was trying to get the head coach to see me. Didn't really see me play, but came to visit the high school at Plano Senior High. But he didn't really see me or really give me a chance to fill out because he didn't see me play AAU or anything. So the assistant coach at Abilene Christian knew Todd Duncan in Lubbock. And so got to walk on, go to the summer camp, and just committed there. So
let's go.
Played for a year, red-shirted, though. I got hurt my ankle, and then I just got burnt out. I didn't really want to do it. That's when I started the whole.
What age were you at that time?
Let's see.
It was like early 20s or like late teens?
Yeah, I graduated class of 2014, so 2015.
Okay.
So I was about 18, 19. So, yeah.
Man, dude, I did not know you balled like that, though.
Yeah, I can hoop, yeah.
Okay, that's good to know because
yeah.
For Outlandish Fest next year, we thinking about doing something like a little 4-on-4 tournament, 5-on-5.
Just let me know. We'll
Bro.
get people buckets still.
And that's what everybody says, bro. Like, again, like I'm not even the one to speak because I'm not the athletic type. I will play though.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. You could pass me the rock.
Come on.
We're gonna do that. But I bring it up to some people, and everyone has the same response. They're like, "Oh yeah, put me in." Like,
put me in. Yeah,
I'm like, okay, I'm ready to see it.
That's some game. I talked to D1 schools. I know I got the potential in me. I'm still in my prime.
I'm with it, bro.
I actually turned 29 on November 9th, so not too far. So.
Oh wow,
yeah,
that was not that long ago.
Old, bro.
Nah, like I'm right there with you, bro. Look, I'm 28. I'll be 29. In a week.
Wow.
I'll be 29 in a week. So yeah. But I like to tell people, bro, like we're like the oldest young people.
Yeah.
Or like the youngest old people. You see
sure.
what I'm saying? Like that 30, bro, that early 30s.
Yeah.
That's the sweet spot.
Well, you found your wife by early on. Me, I'm like, I'm not, because I'll see a girl like, oh, she's cute. And then I'm like, dang, she's like 19, 20.
Oh, shoot.
Or
right.
in the young adults at church or something like that. And then it's like, I'm not in the married group either in my early 30s. Or it might be somebody who's a single mother and has a child too, which is nothing wrong with that.
Nothing wrong with that.
It's a different
but
dynamic as far as that I'm in that in-between phase where I'm like, dang, it's hard. Because I ride with this girl, but she's maturity-wise, maybe there's something there. She's just a little too young. So there has to be a cutoff in that game.
There has to be and not only that, like you don't want to be, how do I put this? Like you don't want to be fully taken care. Like it's nice when a woman can like put on for herself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? When she's responsible and mature. And to be honest, you might not find that in a lot of 20-year-olds. You know, it usually takes them a few years. But I'm talking like I'm a woman expert, and I'm not, so I really don't know. Cases vary.
Yeah, I mean, maturity-wise, emotionally-wise, how to develop
all of that,
what they're pursuing in their career path in the field, what they love to do. If they have a vision, like
that's important. Yeah, like they have to be. I say they. I feel like I'm talking about like I'll be like derogatory. What I mean is as individuals, and yeah, don't cancel me. I haven't even started yet. This is barely season 1. As individuals, and let's take it a step further, as believers, it's important to be passionate about something. Yeah. And I feel like me and you can definitely relate to that just as artists and as entrepreneurials.
Yeah.
But yeah, you'd be surprised how many people in our age demographic like lack that. And there's nothing wrong with that. Like if you are content and if you are good with what, life, whatnot. But I don't know. For me, like I come from I was dealt these cards, but I can strive for more.
For sure.
I can change that.
Yep.
Or at least try.
Exactly.
I'm about trying. My name actually kind of sounds like try, dry. No, I'm playing. But
womp, womp, womp.
Synonyms, yeah, hold up.
He's a cornball. No, I'm just kidding. I'm playing with you.
Dad joke, for real. But yeah, man, I'm all about trying, bro. I'm all about
dude.
like,
This is a season now, being 29, figuring out what I did, what I'm doing right now. And so I got introduced to the social media world about 3 years ago. Was doing it full time for a YouTuber in the space. He opened the door for my life, changed my life, gave me an opportunity I can't even imagine.
Wow.
Got to work with one of my best friends who's a videographer, and just learned a lot about marketing, market research, learning Facebook ads, Google ads, learning targeting, learning how to put together a brand guideline, just everything from videography to production to marketing. How do you approach your content strategy? How do you fulfill that into a marketing strategy? And now me and my friend, my good brother, we have an agency called Solo Agency. And so we work with roofing, building materials to political events to church stuff, just an array of different industries doing content. And then I'm on the back end as well, contracted doing Google and Facebook ads, and just have a good network of creatives. And so I've been doing it. I was working with him for the last few years, but now full time alongside him for the last 6 months.
Let's go.
There's a transition in my life. Had signed my lease, and then basically I'm just doing this full time. And
man, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Now,
Season of transition, man.
Big time, and it seems like that happens like consistently, and kind of like when we least expect it.
Right.
It's like right when you get comfortable, there's always a season of like transition
For sure.
right around the corner. And it's crazy, but it's good though, because the more times we go through those seasons, the more, not the more better, that's not grammatically correct, but the better we are at being able to approach them and like embrace them in the next one. You know
For sure. And I think, the cliche of the church saying of like you're going to go into a season, or you're about to go into, or you're in a season.
You're coming out of a season.
Now you're going to come out of it.
Yeah.
So that means going back to the name Brodi Phoenix, I just like the symbol of what a phoenix is, especially biblically, of just like the rebirth, the rejuvenation, the regeneration. A phoenix, its tears can heal people. It's like the pain that God is allowing me to go through to be more dependent upon Him in this season, in this trial of like being independent, single guy, grinding, trying to pay rent, trying to save, trying to be an entrepreneur, dealing with childhood stuff at a much larger extent in some degrees, trying to process things now as I wasn't really aware of, being 4, 5, 6 years old.
Of course.
And those triggers and certain things. So God is allowing me to kind of, I would say break me down in a way to be more dependent on Him, at least the circumstances and the cards that are dealt. And so how do I respond to that? And I think the whole idea of a phoenix is just like, man, like the tears, the pain can actually heal people. And so through the artistic craft, the music, I can be able to reach people with just heartfelt emotion and just rawness and authenticity. I think that's what can bring people to Christ ultimately, and just being an innovator in that way. And so that's one aspect, and just the whole like rebirth. Phoenix lives forever, and so it dies, it comes back from the ashes. And so I want to inspire people to rise from the ashes, no matter what their circumstances that they go through in life. That's the whole premise of the Phoenix. So Brodi Phoenix, yeah.
And as a bonus, you got family members in Phoenix.
Got family members in Phoenix. That's right.
No, I love that, bro. That's way deeper than I originally anticipated. That's fire, bro.
Yeah.
Isn't there a part of the Phoenix too that has to do with like flames?
For sure.
That's like the main.
Yeah, just at least the feathers. I'm not mythologically sound.
Right. No, me either. But
I'm sure like there's a whole flame aspect of it, for sure, a fiery aspect of it. But definitely the whole rejuvenation, rebirth, being born again. And then just the
tears,
pain
of being healed.
Yeah, dude. Like Harry Potter. When Harry's getting attacked by the snake underground, and then the phoenix comes out of nowhere, makes a sound effect, flies in, and heals him from getting bit, I think, from the snake.
That's amazing.
So it's kind of cool.
And then the first part of that Brody is just
nickname. My first name is
Broderick.
Yeah, so I would be called B-Rod. Brod, so I would hear Brody every now and then, but I just like how it sounds like
Brody's a nice name. I be calling people Brody.
Like what up, Brody?
Like, names aren't even Broderick. Yeah,
exactly. So Brodi Phoenix, I think it has like I'm going to the Brodi Phoenix concert as opposed to Broderick Perkins, because it sounds like a hooper, like 6'2" guard from San Antonio, Broderick Perkins. It sounds like a hooper name. I'm getting buckets though,
bro.
And one coach, my man.
Bro, that's so fire. But now you can do both.
Now I can do both.
You're still Broderick.
I would love to do like, some type of like, I see the celebrity, games.
Yeah.
J. Cole hooping, or like The Game, or people, I don't know.
Bro, I could honestly see you too. Like, I feel like the next, because you are an artist who takes time you put time and effort into your visuals,
sure.
your music videos. I've always noticed that about you. You've never strayed away from having content, standout, excellent music video productions. I feel like your first single, or not your first single, but your first like the one you wanna, you know what I'm talking about. Like as an artist, you have that one you wanna like.
For sure.
Okay, that one, whatever it is, I feel like a music video as a basketball player or something, or that being a part of the music video story.
Yeah.
That would go hard.
Yeah, I think so.
And it ties right in with like
for sure
who you are.
The hooper / artist route, you know.
Ooh.
That's cool.
But like tasteful, not like High School Musical. Like,
yeah,
like that. That was
all in this, you know, doing it.
I mean, if you do go that route, put me in. You know, I'm a background actor.
Yeah, you can do a little dance on it.
I could do backup dance, bro. We could background vocals, whatever you need.
Yeah, that's why I look at, you know, like J. Cole's story of just like the warm up Friday Night Lights, like the whole, you know.
He really tied that into his artistry.
Tied it into it, you know. He played high school, but then going to college to St. John's, and then, you know, giving a CD to Jay-Z when he was walking to the building. He was outside the gate. I used to study him in my freshman year of college. Just study lyricism.
Bro.
That's the biggest.
And that was right when, so I think we were actually both at UNT around the same time.
Yeah.
I was there 2014 to 2017.
Yeah, I think I got there like 18 or 19.
Oh, shoot. Okay,
right.
bet. So I was
finished there. Went to LCU, went to Collin College. I actually was doing audio engineering and music business.
Okay.
I was like, I don't know if a certification is going to pay the bill, so
right.
I can learn this on my own. Then I ended up going to UNT.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. But like right at that time, though, that was like, so my freshman year at UNT, it was right when he had just dropped 2014 Forest Hills. Yeah. What else had come out? Like I remember like my sophomore year, the following year, 16, it was like Migos with Culture.
Yeah.
Kendrick with Damn.
2014 to 2016 was
prime time,
it was
bro.
Good.
I would be talking to these Gen Z kids, bro, and they swear that 2018, 2019 was like amazing in like hip hop and rap.
Yeah.
I feel like it really wasn't, bro. Like I feel like a lot of that stuff kind of fell off.
For sure, definitely transition.
But nah, a
lot of people got a similar. It's just a similar sound. I think I was talking to an artist. He's an OG, you know. He's been doing it for a long time, and I was just saying, like, you know, it seems like everybody's just the trap sound.
Trap.
I love me a good trap song too, for sure. But it's
what
you're saying is just like familiarity is so key in that, because it's so the sound itself sonically is just so familiar, and it's easy, it's accessible, it's obtainable. You don't have to really sit down and think about it as much.
Right.
It's not
right. You could be saying anything over a trap beat and it would slap, versus like, yeah, even as a lyrical or a conscious or a chill rap or whatever anybody wants to be labeled as, yeah, you could still have a great beat. That's cool. But like, I feel like we should be challenging ourselves to say something.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the bottom line. That's kind of what I put it up against when I hear stuff and when I write stuff. I put it up against that right there. I put it up against, am I saying something?
For sure.
Are they saying something?
Exactly.
And don't get me wrong, I've made my mistakes and I have my fair share of tracks right now on Spotify. Y'all go listen to them. But that I was saying nothing.
For sure, yeah.
You know what I mean? But as I grow, as I develop, like that has to be, you know, the standard.
Oh, 100%. I always felt like, I wouldn't say the black sheep, or I always felt like not the outcast in a way. It's just like, man, I always try to pursue my authenticity and my artistry with production and making a solid track as a whole. And I always feel like in the, you know, a lot of my rap friends, or whether it's Christian rap scene or just rap friends in general, just the same way.
Right.
And I always felt some type of way. I'm like, dang, like, they don't even have a compelling visual. And I spent 3 hours on this. And, man, I recorded the track. I mixed it, too. And then I put it out there, and I did a dope concept. And I actually take time. And, you know, I try to do a variety of different things. And I always felt like, dang, I just never really got love. And then I have to check my heart, too. It's like, why are you really doing this?
Boom.
You know? And that's the valuable aspect that I've grown and matured out of from years prior, to be like, dang, like, this person popped off, or this person is like that. But no, I'm actually sitting in a better place now of like, man, stay true to yourself and what, you know, the Lord has put on your heart to create. And so that's where I'm at. Like, I'll post, log out of Instagram, I'll respond to the comments if I need the next day. I don't look left or right anymore like I used to, and get comparative. And
bro, comparison, ooh,
yeah, like, that's the thing.
That's a dog right there.
It is.
Yeah, that'll tear us up, man. And anyone liable to it. You know what I mean? Like I think it's in our nature.
Accessible.
You know the word I'm thinking of.
I can't even say, but yeah, people are prone to and vulnerable to that if you let it creep in. And so I think the biggest thing is, like, for me, I got to the point is like success. How do you define success? Is it having a major platform? Is it having the likes and the mentions and the shares? But no, I think true success is first and foremost knowing your identity in Christ.
Yep.
That's the biggest thing. And, the talents and gifts that God has given you, how can you use that to the fullest capacity to bless somebody else? It doesn't have to be material things. It doesn't have to be financial gain or the clout, but it's like the Lord has positioned me with my specific skill sets to reach somebody to hear a specific message at a specific point in time. And once you understand that aspect of success, then the comparison just vanishes.
No, that's hard.
And that's where I'm at. I'm like, I'm not looking left or right, and I respect my friends and my brothers that are doing their thing. But it's like, man, I just want to focus on what God has put on my plate. So
I say two things to that, and one of them is like personal. So like, not personal, like weird or deep, but like, from my point of view is like, I struggled with the same thing for so long as an artist. And I was sharing a little bit earlier about how I'm actually like brand new, like I'm just barely getting, I still, honestly, if I'm being honest with you, I feel like I haven't even found my sound.
Sure.
You know how people say like, oh, you got to find your sound. Woo, woo, woo.
Exactly, yeah.
I feel like I still haven't even found mine. So I'm like brand spanking new. But for the longest time, I would get so disappointed in my numbers or my ratings or this or that because of comparison. But the minute I flipped the switch to just saying, I'm making what I want, how I know 100%. How to make it, I'm getting better, I'm enjoying it.
100%.
And I make it for me, not make it for the next like or the next follow. I was like, man, now it's enjoyable. Now I don't, there's no pressure to put out the next album. It's more of like a passion project.
Exactly.
It goes from pressure to passion.
100%.
And the second thing I was going to say is like when you're talking about doing, using the gifts you have and like channeling it the right way. Like I was watching an interview the other day, matter of fact, with John Cena, bro, out of all people.
Yeah.
Bro, the dude's got game.
Yeah,
he's so humble. Yeah, so smart. And he was talking about like how we normally define wealth as a financial figure, right? Like wealth attributes to money.
Sure.
Not true. Wealth just means having an abundance of something. So you could have a wealth of knowledge. You could have a wealth of clothes. You could have a wealth of resources. You could have a wealth of time on your day off, right? We have a wealth of time.
100%.
So it's like once you learn to really like look at the areas in your life that are lacking wealth and distribute it evenly, I don't know. He basically was spinning
for the common good of humanity.
Yeah, he was like spinning off of that. Yes, and I was like, yo,
because you're talented in ways that I'm not. I'm talented in ways that you're not. The guy next door is talented in ways you're not.
And if we were able to just lock arms and say there's a common goal in mind,
yeah,
because take it a step further, you're gonna reach people that I'm not able to,
yeah,
and vice versa.
For sure.
So as long as people were like vision minded,
yeah,
guess what? Now there's more people being reached.
100%.
And so it's really interesting, man. It's really interesting too, especially like in this DFW space, like because we've done some shows together.
Yeah.
We've been in the same buildings at different shows as audience members, even. And man, like there's so much to learn. There's so much to see in this community. But I'll be honest with you, bro. I feel like this space, this city is kind of.
I feel like everybody, as far as artistry goes, I think everybody's trying to do their own thing.
It feels divided.
I think there's a lot of ego. I think there's a lot of.
It feels divided, and it feels like they only want one at the top.
Yeah.
Or everybody wants to be one at the top, and not necessarily nothing. Let's look at it like from the full perspective. Maybe there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, hip hop culture, if you will, is about being the best, right? Yeah. Rap battles, all that stuff. But like, I don't know. Is that what? I didn't know that's what we were on when I stepped into this. And it just feels like...
I felt like that for years.
I feel like there should be more unity.
Doing it for years, so I definitely feel that way. I don't know. There's got to be some way to network or do some events where this person produces and this person writes a song and this artist can execute. Or how do you put all that trifecta of like perfection and make something golden out of it? But I think everybody... He's trying to make it to the top.
I feel like
I've dealt with that on social media. I've seen comments. I've seen the passiveness, and people won't admit it. And I've seen that type of response in certain ways, making music. And in the music space, in any industry, whether it's corporate, even in the church, people are always going to feel a certain type of way if they don't have what you have or they can't do what you do. And it comes off as love, or it seems like that, but it's just like an angel of light in some ways. And I've dealt with artists like that, in the circles that I've seen. Music is it could be an ego-filled thing.
It could be competitive.
It could be competitive.
Yeah.
It's a very specific narrow niche.
And there's necessarily competitiveness necessarily isn't even a bad thing.
No.
But if that becomes the priority, if that becomes the main,
I gotta outperform. I gotta one up the next person. And so I dropped a single called Payday, and I talk about the exact same thing in the second verse.
Go.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just really interesting to me. And one thing I've noticed is like, if we ever do get to that second phase, or if like, let's say a group of artists get, and I'm only talking about DFW. All right. So if anybody's watching this, you're in a different city, you make music. I see you notes. I see our PA team coming in clutch. Yes. Grace and good friends. We're working on a production. It's been a year.
Yeah.
2025. We coming. Let's go. Sorry. Little ADHD there. But, let's say we do get to that next phase. This is what I see happens at the next phase. People are like, oh, okay, you do this, I do this, let's collaborate. But then it becomes I want to do my thing.
Yeah.
So it becomes man, I don't know. Like, I feel like that has to stop. Like, if we ever want growth, or if we ever want to like actually see, like, there are communities that are thriving in this music space. And also too, like, an adjacent of that, and I feel like you could feel me on this, is like, just because they're artists that are doing things a certain way, we don't have to follow those same footsteps.
Right.
Right. But let's say, for the sake of like this theory, like we were following those footsteps, there's communities that are flourishing.
Yeah.
But it's like they've grasped unity, and I don't know. I just feel like that's
some way,
exactly.
Obviously, you got to have your core friends, and you can't let everybody in. But
facts.
There's definitely that aspect of it, and it just, I think, comes back to understanding why you're doing this, why you're in this, what does success mean to you, how can you use your gifts. I think the intent of things is either the make or break of something, and I've seen that in doing music and stuff, and there's that aspect of it, and so for me, I just want to stay true to my sound. Like, I don't want to follow what everybody is necessarily doing, even if it takes longer, even if it, is a specific sound. Like, I just want to stay true, implementing it. And so I feel like, you talk about just starting in the recent years and trying to find your sound. I feel like I found my sound and my voice.
Let's go.
Artistically, singing wise, you don't have to be a crazy singer, but you can be an effective singer. You can make a song. So I feel like that's the important thing. And so I say I do like alternative hip hop, and I combine elements of, I don't know, soul, R&B, pop, funk. So
yes,
I got stuff I haven't even released that people have no idea
bro,
about.
You're influenced, bro. Like, your sound is not in a box. You take from what you like and what you think sounds good, and you experiment, bro. And yeah, I respect that about you, bro.
I appreciate it.
I feel like, and now I haven't tested this yet, so I'm not gonna lie and say I've tested it, but I feel like I could go play 3 of your songs at random and they'd all sound completely different, because you just, and you told me this too at the last event where we just ran into each other. You're like, I take from funk, I take from jazz, I take from pop, or not take from, but that's the sounds that influence and mold.
Yeah, I gotta listen to so much, and honestly, I don't really listen to rap anymore as much, unless like somebody, one of our guys is dropping a project and everybody stops what they're doing. Like the Coles, the Kendricks, check out Tyler's stuff.
Okay, let's.
I didn't really listen to Tyler fully yet.
I haven't even heard it yet.
Yeah,
I was never a Tyler guy. That's my unpopular opinion. Most people around our age, I'm like, I never rocked with Tyler, because when he blew up with the whole All Future Wolfgang Kill 'Em All Goblin album, was it an album?
Pulling off their fingernails.
Yeah,
remember that video?
Cockroaches.
Yeah, that's
I was 11 years old, bro. I was in the 6th grade, and for some reason, like, all the kids at school, like, that was.
I do like I can respect Tyler, just his. Just being outside of the box, being innovative.
I like what he did with what's that, the TV show he had on MTV? Was it on MTV with like his friends Taco and them?
Yeah, I can't remember the name of it.
Me either. I liked that. Like, I feel like that's, again, like I was talking earlier about content. Like, it would be great to, like,
for sure,
not mimic, but like do something like that, because no one's really putting out content like that your family could watch, or that's like local, or that's like faith based, or. And it doesn't even necessarily have to be any of that. But if I were, as a creative, bro, as a person of art, like, that's what I would
for sure
try to fit.
Yeah.
Okay, real quick then. Okay, so you haven't heard Tyler's all the way. I haven't heard Tyler's. Have you heard GNX with Kendrick?
I did. Yeah, I listened to it one time fully. It's more like a compilation of songs and mixtapes, and so
interesting.
It sounds like that. That's what I've heard. I can hear that perspective, how it's like a compilation of songs. But yeah, I think, yeah.
Yeah. Kendrick, man, I heard the first 2 songs, and then I watched a Ruslan video about one of the songs, Reincarnate, and then I I watched that whole video, and then I immediately went to go listen to Reincarnate.
Wasn't talking about like God's perspective of him and
Well, apparently it was talking about like Satan reincarnated as Kendrick, or like that's part of it.
oh.
And then he's talking to God, like, did I finally?
I saw a little bit of a Ruslan clip where where Kendrick obviously in Butterfly mentions Lucy and kind of this temptative figure, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I think I heard that aspect of it, but I'm not sure. I got to go back and listen to it. But I knew it was like God speaking into him because he's like at all these songs. It's like he's just going at the industry's head. Like he's just going hard. And so,
well, it was interesting to say the least. It was, he's a very artistic individual. And,
I'm a huge Kendrick fan for sure.
Matter of fact, there's so much I want to say. There's so much I want to bro. My mind, just so you know, I go like 3 questions ahead.
Keep it rolling.
And then, but I always forget like 2, and then we just end up somewhere completely different.
No, you're good.
But before we get anywhere else, man, I want you to take like 30 seconds. Where can my people follow you, bro? Where can they listen to your music? What's the name? How do you spell it? Just let them know.
Yeah, so it's just add Brodi Phoenix on everything from YouTube handle to Instagram to Facebook. It's just Brodi, not Y, and then Phoenix, like the bird. So Brodi Phoenix, you can find me. I got a website up, brodiphoenix.site. But I'm going to try to revamp that a little bit and stuff, get some photo shoots and content. But I just released my first project from a couple years ago since I rebranded. It's called Eastside Playrific Soul.
Yep.
So you're going to get some, R&B-ish soul music and some very, funky, bouncy, good songs. Like the East Side is super dope. Just talk about back home on my dad's side of this family. He grew up in the projects. I get to see that aspect in one side of my family, and then kind of the 2 worlds that I live in. And so it's just from the East Side to Hoopty is probably my favorite track and video. So you can go on YouTube and check out the Hoopty video. Probably my favorite video. Shout out to Levi Millerborg of all time that I've gotten so far from a videographer. So,
let's go.
Eastside Playrific Soul is out. My single Payday is out.
Let's go.
And then I'm working on stuff after finishing a friend's project. I'm mixing down probably the last project I'm ever doing. Then I'm just gonna hit the ground running, doing my own stuff. And my goal is to drop a single once a month.
2025.
Visuals with it too. So
let's go.
Got some stuff in the works, man, that I haven't released, but it's just sitting in the vault. So
let's go. I'm excited for it. I hope you're excited for it. Brodi Phoenix, man. If you haven't already, y'all make sure to tap in for real, for real. We are gonna de-escalate ourselves. We're gonna wind down, but I still got, man, the one thing I wanted to ask you, being a jack of all trades, right? From production to mixing, anything music related. You mentioned photo shoots, right? And I know you dabble with videography as well, from writing to performing. Like, man, whatever it is, you name it. Where's your pull? Like, what do you gravitate towards more? Like, what do you like doing the most? What's the most fun? What's the most difficult? Like, a lot of people I feel like kind of just jump into one bag and then stay there. And there's nothing wrong with that because that bag ends up most of the time being a bag and it's cool.
There's nothing wrong. Have somebody else specialize in a talent and be able to help them out. Like somebody might not be able to produce, but they can rap their butt off.
And then
get the right producer.
Okay, let's get the right. Exactly. So we're making hits now. But for you right, you got your hands in all these different pots. Like what is it for you? What gets you going the most?
Sure, man. So to kind of backtrack, I started producing on FL Studio when I was like 14, 15 years old.
Fire.
I recorded a remix of Deuces with Chris Brown when I was 14 about this girl in high school that kind of I was like,
chunking up the deuces.
Yeah, I was doing that. So
let's go.
So I did like a version of that, and that was like the first thing I ever recorded on Pro Tools. And then made a shift into production. So I was listening to guys like Waka Flocka production, Lex Luger, Rick Ross type of horn instrumentals. Like I was in that trap phase.
Okay.
And then I was doing that. I did some R&B stuff, some pop stuff. My cousin, shout out to Aaron, A. Rucker, A. Moses, is my other cousin, Moses. They kind of got me into the space of just production and like the creative process of it. So. But for the most part, so I started producing first. Then I started rapping a little bit. Was a huge Young Money fan, Tyga, Drake, Wayne, stuff like that. Then my freshman year at college came. And actually, backtrack, I gave my life to the Lord when I was 15 years old, so that shifted everything. So I started, reading the Psalms, and I was like, man, this is like poetry, man. Psalm 119 or whatever. It's like, how does a man keep his way pure by guarding it according to your word? Like it's all poetry to me. Yeah. So I actually just started writing poems, man.
Wow.
Then it started transitioning into lyrical stuff and like Then I started getting introduced to more Christian hip hop stuff like the Lecrae's Gravity and Anomaly albums, Trip Lee, Andy Mineo. But I was really big on Beautiful Eulogy
Okay.
with Cortland Urbano, which is the producer. It's very like folky, kind of just experimental.
Okay.
Very songwriter-esque type songs.
Okay.
Very lyrical. And then Shai Lin was another guy, an OG in the game. So I
Super,
used to
like-
listen to Shai Lin, and
Yeah.
the Atonement album was great.
Just theology, like.
Yeah, greatest story ever told. I forgot the story. I think it's called Stories, but yeah, just listen to that, man. And I started getting lyrical freshman year of college. Was still writing, still recording in the dorm room, but then I started listening to J. Cole more when I was like 18, 19.
Okay.
Like I heard like stuff in high school. I think it was like nobody's perfect, baby. That song. So that's when I kind of generally heard Cole, but some of my
Right.
friends didn't real rock with him. They're like, nah, Kendrick, Section 80, Good Kid, Mad City.
Of course.
You know what I'm
right,
saying?
Yeah.
So, and I didn't really listen to Kendrick that much early on, but I started listening to Cole and the warm up and Friday Night Lights, and that's what sparked like that lyricist.
Yeah.
Started doing that, pivoted, and just started implementing it. Just what? Because I grew up in a music household, so my brothers Joe and John are jazz musicians, and so they went to New York, been on some great, highly produced tracks. One
Wow.
plays a trombone, one plays a sax. My dad is a pretty good singer, growing
Wow.
up.
Oh, so it's in the genes.
It's in the genes, man.
Yeah.
My stepdad plays the bass. And then my brother does spoken word, and then my cousin has a group in San Antonio called Cadillac Music,
Let's go.
and they charted some indie charts for Billboard, I think in 2017, 18, around that
Wow.
time. So he really set that foundation and blueprint of like music business,
Yes.
publishing, songwriter
Ooh.
credits. He put me on that and give me some good outlets to really market and really just understand music as holistic. And at that point, I was like, man, I really love music. I always like soul and R&B. Like I don't even listen to hip hop as much. I listen to a lot like Leon Bridges, Alan Stone.
Yeah.
You got Anthony Hamilton, Marvin Gaye, Miguel. I listen to a lot of different things. I
Yeah,
love
yeah.
Pharrell Williams as well.
Yes,
as
sir.
far as production wise, always grew up a Kanye fan from College Dropout to 808s.
We were bumping Kanye before y'all got here.
Yeah.
Yeah, Kanye going crazy.
Production was just insane. And so Pharrell and the Neptunes, and I think he produced like at least half of the tracks in mid 2000s or early
Bro,
2000s.
have you seen Piece by Piece yet? The Lego
I need
movie?
to.
Oh my
I
god.
need to go hard though.
It's so good, bro. It's
Yeah.
such a good story. I'm sorry. Okay, go
No,
ahead.
you're
Go ahead.
good. Yeah, so I just got an array of things. Obviously, I love Outkast and Andre 3000 and storytelling and poetry. So that's when
Storytelling,
I
that's a
started
big one.
shifting in my sound. It became more of these elements of different genres into like a neo soul singing.
Mm.
So I started getting better at singing, man. I just practiced, got some training here and there too.
Good.
Need to do more vocal lessons as far as breath control, but I think I found my sound
Let's
and
go.
I know how to make it hit. And so I think going back to the original question, it's like my favorite part of it, man. It's so hard to choose.
It's really the full
I
process.
like making a full track.
Yeah.
Like some people just get a beat and they rap on it, but it's like I like producing and I like getting real instruments. Like my friend, I'll send him a reference like from a royalty free sample.
Right.
Like, can we recreate this? But I got and I always start with the melody in my head, like na 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 na. I always
Right,
hear
right.
something in
And
it
build.
and build off
of
that
that.
melody. So usually lately it's crazy, and I always used to hear them say this, but sometimes I don't even be writing no more. Like all the reels and stuff that I do,
Right.
I'll literally record and stop and think about it, and then I just keep going with it. And then I might write it down afterwards so I can sing it better, so I
Right.
get that flow. But I've just been humming a melody right to it. But I like hearing the sound, like the guitar, the keys that I can implement from a friend that plays it and stuff, or add a trumpet in there. And then I usually produce and do the drum patterns, the arrangement, get the bridge in there. So I like the production.
Bro, that's
aspect,
what I was gonna
making
say,
a
bro.
track.
That's a producer, bro. Like
Yeah.
that's a producer. And
Yeah.
and I've had this conversation recently with a few people. It's like there's a lot of beat makers out there.
Yeah.
Not a lot of producers.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for
and,
sure.
and someone who maybe doesn't know the difference will mistake your everyday beat maker
Yeah.
for a producer, but no.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, it's a single element. You hear stuff on YouTube or BeatStars, it's this repetitive.
Yes. versus like and I've been watching Rhythm and Flow, dude, season 2.
I saw the first episode, and then I was like actually working on the track, so I was playing in the background.
Let's go. No, it's perfect, bro. I love background stuff while I'm
Yeah.
writing, or like I'll put a movie on mute
Inspiration.
and just yes.
Yeah.
But no, so they're only 4 episodes in. I think the next 2 episodes actually dropped today.
Ooh.
Yeah, so I'm gonna go home and watch one of
Go
them.
watch it,
yeah,
yeah.
but DJ Khaled is one of the judges.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Saw that.
And it seems like his favorite thing to talk about is like he's like, yo, I want to produce you. He's like, you could really be produced. And it just goes to show you, though, too, like.
Great impression.
Yeah, nah, that was terrible. Don't lie to me. Halfway in my mind, I was like, I shouldn't be doing this. Womp womp. That's strike 2, boy. Nah, he keeps talking about producing people. He's like, you could really be produced.
It's about how you brand yourself. That's why I want to do a whole reshift, because I would do like different reels at different locations, which is an aspect of it. But like stylistically, I love thrifting.
Yes, bro. You always pop out with fashion.
With this Adidas jacket for $14, bro.
Oh, we haven't even talked about the fashion.
We'll get into that here in a second. But I love innovativeness. I love creativeness.
Yeah.
And I think Pharrell is a huge inspiration in that.
I gotta stop,
Andre 3000. I like just being eclectic and just like creative and just express yourself, and even if it looks like off to the normal person. I like wearing pinstripe
being
pants
yourself
with like a color, and they're like, but it works for some reason.
Bro. Nah, bro, look, let's backtrack just a half a step on Pharrell Williams. I've told you this before, but like the people got to know, like, you do get this like from time to time, right? Like how you not only musically are influenced by him, but like you also kind of look like like, is that a thing, bro? Like,
I've heard it before.
All right, I was like, I can't be the only one.
Bro, wear the hat and stuff. And
yes, bro, you rock the hat,
yeah.
You know. And then hearing you talk too, bro. And I did go to the theaters and watch Piece by Piece. Such an inspiring film, bro. Like, you did an amazing job. No, I'm playing. But it was so inspiring, bro. Yeah. And I'm hearing some of the stuff that he was talking about, bro. Is like just that passion for like seeing a project, a piece, bro, come into like fruition. You know, it's a beautiful thing.
Like, how do we change this or do this? And so now I feel like I found my sound, and I think as you continue to grow in your journey, you're gonna be like, this is the full completion of it, like my saying form 3 or something like that. Like, I'm here, like I know how to sing my style, and you don't have to be a crazy singer. You know, I mean, it's cool to hit riffs and it's cool to hit runs and different things, but you could be a great singer, but you don't know how to write a track. You don't have the right production, because I've heard great singers, but the lackluster production. But I can create something completely that like, you would think it's like in a movie.
Right.
But you don't have to be. And that's the approach. Like, how do you market that? And I think with the Phoenix brand and remarketed that as a visionary, I think that's going to be a cool element to stepping in this next season, this next year, dude. So I think that's my favorite part of it. I used to hate being called a rapper. And I think that's what
I still do, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, I think that's what drove me to sing and to sing better, to produce, to write songs. And I had like a song submission thing for a radio station DJ in Dallas, and there was like 4 panels. And one of the panelists was like, man, you could write songs, R&B songs, And I'm like, I've been in the hip hop world for years, but I can write stuff, And you look at guys like, obviously Pharrell's one of them.
Right.
Neo is another one.
Who have managed to like be in both worlds.
Where you can write songs for people. And so I would love to do that too. Anything behind the scenes, collect that royalty check. We're good.
Yes.
So I think that's a big thing. I used to hate being called that, and I think because I feel like when you hear rapper, it's just like
it's so constricting.
You're dismissed.
Yes, bro.
Like, SoundCloud, or like, feel like they got it a bit of the way in the feeling, just done it.
They're like,
I've been in it.
I've been at an event before, bro, and I won't specify where, but they were like, here's Jariah. He's a Christian rapper. And I was like, really? That's all I get? Like, y'all done drove me out here. Y'all done paid. They gave me gas money, bro. They put my face on a flyer, and all I get is,
I like that too.
The Christian
What's
rapper.
Your view on like being called a Christian rapper, or a rapper that is a Christian?
It's interesting, and
some people
those two statements right there, they try to
go to.
Yeah. No, okay.
Your perspective.
Here's what I put on someone just the other day. Matter of fact, at the event we were at, in the green room, I was talking to someone about it, and I think, let's say there's a Christian rapper over here and a Christian that raps over here. Their audiences are different. Yeah. And I think if both of their hearts are in the right place with God, then their music's going to do the same job regardless. Yeah. And if we can reach more people, then that's even better. But my problem is when we try to get divided up here before we even have the chance to reach anybody. Because people will try to say, well, if you're not casting out demons in your song, you're a fake Christian. And I'm like, whoa, like, where did that become a thing? Because there are no rules in art. Let's consider that too.
You look at God, the author of all things, bringing
that's gonna come out.
Foundation of the world into existence.
But then there's also like, man, and you know this, like, we've been in different rooms, and there's like some outrageous, like, I mean, it also is industry too, right? It's still the music industry, right? So like, there's people, I've seen people point the finger like, well, he took $1,000 to do a feature. That's not godly, and it's like, well, if that's his full-time job. How is that not? You know what I mean? Like, and if he pays his tithes, like, let's really talk about it. Yeah. So like, there's so many different layers and so many different angles, and I've heard so much negative, and it just, for me, I don't market myself as a Christian artist, I like to focus on my relationship with the Lord right here, as I believe we should, and then what He puts inside of me and what comes out thereafter, I'm cool with it. Now at the same time,
No, go
at the
ahead.
same time, I also have like, what's that word? Not standards, but I have like boundaries. Like I'm not gonna use vulgarity or profanity in my music. That's against my, you know what I mean?
For
But
sure.
I'm also not gonna be like, I'm probably, and I might, who knows? But I'm probably not gonna be like Deuteronomy 1 verse 3, like, you know what I mean? Like,
But that's the thing with a lot of Christian rappers, and I'm not calling anybody names. I'm not doing that, but just an observation about the limitations that you have in
Yes.
that route. Once you do that, that's all you could do.
Right,
And there's
and
nothing wrong with that.
there's
Because
nothing
as long as
wrong
your
with
heart
that.
is in the right place, it is worship to the Lord.
I agree.
But okay,
But now you can't get booked to go do the regular show because you're just a Christian rapper,
yeah.
and vice versa.
But if you go that route, I think if you go that route, I think that's a great route, and I think you should wholeheartedly pursue being a
Yes.
gospel rapper, a gospel artist.
But at that time too, as a regular rapper who's a Christian, now you can't get booked by the church because your stuff isn't holy enough. Like, it's really like
It's that line.
pros and cons on both sides.
And I saw a post, and it was like, should Christians listen to secular music? And there's this whole sacred. This is my philosophy on it. So people probably disagree on it and probably say I'm wrong, but this is what I feel like the Lord has brought my understanding to. But somebody's like, should Christians listen to secular music? And then I was like, and I responded, I was like, how do you define secular music? Is me listening to classical Beethoven music while I'm studying music? Is that, or if I'm on a family road trip to wherever, to Arkansas, and I'm listening to a uplifting, positive pop song, is that deemed as secular?
That's the thing too. Like, I'll take it a step further. I've always been the type to challenge, like, as a believer, I could be listening to the craziest song in the world. For example, Young Jock is going down. Meet Me in the Trap is going down. We know what he's talking about. But instead of saying, oh, that's demonic, I'm not going to listen to it. What if that was someone at their lowest point in life calling out to God, and they were saying, meet me in the trap, it's going down. The Holy Spirit's coming down into my heart. Meet me in the mall, it's going down. I feel like what you listen to is filtered through where your heart's at. So if your heart is for God, you might not hear the explicit vulgarity. You might actually hear something else because God can use anything to talk to you. Now, I understand that analogy is a stretch, right? Young Jock's not talking about God.
Yeah, I get you.
But it's about being filtered, like, to where our heart's at.
For sure.
And some people can't listen to secular music. That's great. If listening to secular music is going to go make you smoke a blunt at the strip club,
or fornicate, go
then
smoke,
you
or
probably
drink.
shouldn't.
And it does have the influence. R&B music can do that for sure. It gets you in the
It's
mood where,
they
like,
call
you
it
touch
baby
the girl.
making music, bro.
Yeah.
That's what it's been called.
Exactly. So I think that, but you can't put the Lord in a box.
Bingo.
When I hear the secular music idea, and I was kind of looking it up, kind of fact checking this ideology, but when I look at C.S. Lewis's Chronicles of Narnia or J.R. Tolkien's Lord of the Rings, those are deemed as, like, visually from the outside as secular works. But when you look at it, like,
story,
being the lion, being the hope and love,
yeah.
And, I think singing Narnia into existence.
Yeah.
But then you got the White Witch's duality between good and evil, and you see these biblical principles and stuff, and you view it through that filter. That's how I write my work.
Bingo.
And a lot of the stuff that I'm writing in my lyrics, you're going to get those undertones of truth. I did like a little pop song where I'm talking about that. I did a reel the other day and did a pop song talking about, the party life. It's like, the girl's looking in the mirror, taking a glance. She's not confident in herself. But then you go out dressing like that, and he grabs it, but you're wearing this stuff, but you go out in there, and then I'm talking about, it's all right, just numb the pain by drinking, drinks on the rocks, no splashes. And then I'm like, the damage is done. The damage is done. Turn up the song. Let's go stupid, go savage. And then I'm singing the pop lyrics. But it's just like
the lemon one, right?
No, that was just a little sneak preview.
Oh,
I'm working on a song called Chasing Magic.
Okay.
And so it's like this endless chase of, like, the thrill of it, but it honestly lets you down. And so I'm talking about that duality of, like, the party life and expectations from that, only to numb the pain.
Wow.
So that's kind of, but lemon drop is another aspect of it too, where it's a shot drink, but it's just talking about numbing the pain in a way, like a girl's going out or the guy's drinking with his boys, and you try to holler at old girl and stuff like that.
And it's that void kind of.
But the song is so melodic that you're bouncing with it, but I'm hitting you in truth, so you can play it at the club, and people are like, dang, like, shawty try to back it up on me or whatever, It's
right,
like,
right.
You know,
But there's a message.
yeah,
I rock with
I
that.
think that, and I think if you have that undertone in those truths, yes. But most importantly, this is my view on it as well. Is like, does God get more glory if you have the most theologically song in place, but your heart is not there? But what if you're making a romantic song of Solomon? You know,
And that
just
heart
love
is-
song to
is
your
in
wife.
line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What gives more glory? I just don't see the differentiation of that. So that's the biggest thing.
Man, that's good.
Yeah.
That's
That's
good.
my view on it. So I think if you're going as a Christian artist, I think, and you want to play at churches, that's a beautiful thing.
It's a
God
very
has given-
beautiful thing.
God has given you the leverage and the gift to do that too. But if you're a guy that's a believer in what you would deem as secular, but you don't know the conversations that person's having closed door. You don't know that he might have the craziest accountability with his church, but he's not technically a gospel artist.
Ooh, bro. The clock's cutting me off. There's one thing I want to say, and then a few things in closing. There's a comedian I watch who I've been watching since 2016, and he just came out with a special a few months ago, and he's been nicknamed the king of clean comedy, right? Mm-hmm. And I'm talking over 10 years of a comedy career. Tours, arenas, all that.
You said the king of clean comedy?
Right, that's been his nickname. The special he just came out with a few months ago was the first time that he actually openly professed he was Christian.
Really?
So this man found success, fame, if you will, and stood by his morals for over 10 years without ever saying, I'm a Christian comedian.
Biggest thing is I want my life and integrity to reflect the gospel behind closed doors. And though my life has not been perfect and I've made choices, the biggest thing I want is my life to reflect that regardless of the title.
Yes.
Bishop,
but
pastor, yada, 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 Christian rapper.
But it's not lining up behind.
If your life did not line it up. You look at pastors and the downfall of megachurch pastors or these certain things. You have this title and this positioning, but you have the theology and the right answers.
Right.
But behind closed doors, man, it's just a burning fire. Like it's an ambush of fire. And so the title is irrelevant, just like Jesus saying, like, you do many mighty works in my name, you prophesy in my name, all this stuff. I never knew you. So I want my life to represent the gospel, represent Christ, represent integrity behind closed doors.
Despite
and that
the
in
title.
itself is going to breathe through my music, whether it's an uplifting pop song.
Before the genre.
For sure.
Yeah. No, it's crazy because
let's call it life before the genre.
Yeah. Man. That's just, woo, boy. All right. That's amazing, man. I love that. Yeah. There's more food for thought for y'all, for real. Thank you once again.
Yeah, this is
everybody.
Fun.
Brodi Phoenix. I feel like we could double up. I can't believe it's already been an hour. I feel like we could go another hour if we were able to. This went way better than I would have imagined or expected.
Sure.
So grateful. If we ever hop on here again, which I hope we do, we're talking about fashion. We're talking about more music. We're talking about
do a part 2, man.
We'll get you maybe play a unreleased song live or something like that.
To do that.
Man, we'll go crazy, but
perform it, play the instrumental track with it, perform it. That'd be sick.
Oh, performing live would be great.
Cool, right?
That'd be even better.
This is future season 2, man.
Yeah, for real, man.
Do it, man. I appreciate
Rod, thank you so much, bro.
Thank you, man, for the time.
Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Brodi Phoenix at Brodi Phoenix. That's on every social media handle. So look him up. I love y'all. Good night. Peace.
Alert.